Loneliness is rising among seniors. But what if some of it is avoidable? These 12 habits quietly push people away, and most of us don't even realize we're doing them. They can damage your support system without a word being spoken. But here's the good news. Once you know what they are, you can start changing everything. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to stop doing before it's too late. Welcome to Thrive Senior Advice, where we help you build a happier, healthier life after 50. If you're ready to strengthen your relationships, feel more supported, and avoid the painful trap of isolation, you're in the right place. Today, we're exposing 12 habits that can slowly damage your support system, often without you even realizing it. These aren't things people talk about openly, but they're surprisingly common and quietly powerful. If you've ever felt like people are pulling away or that your circle is getting smaller, this video could be a real eye-opener. Make sure you stay until habit number 12. It's the one almost everyone overlooks, and it might just be the reason someone you care about has stopped reaching out. 1. Constant complaining. Let's start with one of the most common habits that quietly pushes people away. Constant complaining. Now, we've all been there. Life throws us challenges, especially as we get older. Aches and pains, loss, frustration with how fast the world is changing. Talking about it can feel like a release. But here's the hard truth. When every conversation starts to feel like a list of complaints, it wears people down. Most people genuinely want to be there for you. They care. But support has limits. If every interaction leaves them feeling drained, they begin to pull back, not because they don't care, but because they're protecting their own energy. The more someone feels like they're only there to absorb negativity, the more they'll look for reasons to avoid that interaction. And this isn't just about being positive all the time. That's unrealistic and honestly, unhealthy. Everyone needs to vent sometimes. But there's a big difference between sharing your struggles and making complaints your identity. When negativity becomes the main topic, people start associating you with that emotional weight. So here's a question worth asking yourself. Do you vent more than you connect? When you talk to friends or family, do you also ask about their lives? Do you laugh, reminisce, or share something uplifting? Or does the conversation always circle back to what's wrong, what hurts, or what used to be better? It's not about pretending everything's fine when it isn't, but balance matters. The most meaningful relationships thrive on mutual exchange, not just of help, but of joy, humor, curiosity, and even silence. Also, think about this. When was the last time someone called you just to chat? If it's been a while, could it be that the tone of your recent conversations made them feel like every call would be emotionally heavy? These are hard questions, but they're important. Here's a small shift that can make a big difference. The next time someone checks in, start by thanking them. Then ask how they're doing. Share something you're grateful for. Even something small, a flower you saw, a memory, a kind gesture from a stranger. These moments create warmth and make people want to stay connected. Remember, the goal isn't to suppress what you're going through. It's to make room for both the struggles and the joys. You don't have to pretend, just be mindful of how much space you're giving to the negative. People naturally move toward what lifts them up. If you become someone who still sees the light, even during hard times, people will feel drawn to you, not repelled. And if you're thinking, well, no one listens when I'm positive either, that might be a sign of deeper issues in the relationship, but it still doesn't change the power you have over your own tone. Sometimes people just need to be reminded of the strength and warmth you still carry. And that starts by sharing more of it. So before we move on, take a moment to reflect. When I talk to the people in my life, do I make them feel better or burdened? If you're not sure, it might be worth asking someone you trust, because changing this one habit could make a major difference in how supported you feel. Let's keep going. The next habit is something many seniors struggle with, often out of pride or fear, but it can silently shut people out. 2. Refusing help. We all value our independence. After a lifetime of working, raising families, solving problems, and navigating ups and downs, it's only natural to want to handle things on your own. Independence gives us a sense of control, dignity, and pride. But here's where things can get tricky when the desire to be independent turns into a habit of refusing help. It can slowly push others away. Let's be clear, wanting to do things for yourself isn't wrong. In fact, it's admirable. But consistently rejecting help, whether it's an offer to carry your groceries, fix something around the house, or even just listen, can send the message that you don't need anyone. And when people start to feel like they're not needed, they often stop trying. Here's something many people don't talk about. Helping someone is a form of love. When a friend, neighbor, or family member offers assistance, they're not just doing a task, they're trying to connect. And when that gesture is met with resistance or dismissal, they may feel rejected. Not because of what you said, but because of how it made them feel. Think about it from their perspective. They might feel like they're intruding, or worse, that their support isn't good enough. Over time, this can create emotional distance, even if your intention was simply to stay self-sufficient. Now, this doesn't mean you should accept help you truly don't need, but it does mean pausing to consider why you're turning it down. Is it pride? Fear of appearing weak? Not wanting to be a burden? Those feelings are valid, but they may not be serving you the way you think. Here's the truth that's hard for many to accept. Letting someone help you isn't weakness, it's a gift of trust. It tells them you value their presence, that you're open, that you believe in their ability to support you. And that simple exchange can strengthen bonds in powerful ways. Also, saying yes to help doesn't make you less capable, it makes you more connected. Relationships deepen when they include acts of care on both sides. If someone offers to drive you somewhere, help with technology, or bring you a meal, saying yes gives them a chance to express love and feel close to you. If this sounds familiar, if you find yourself brushing off offers or saying, "I've got it," before they can finish the sentence, consider trying something different. Next time, pause, smile, say, "Thank you. I'd really appreciate that." You might be surprised how good it feels for both of you. Relationships aren't built on grand gestures. They're built on moments of giving and receiving. If you always play the role of giver or always insist on doing it alone, you rob others of the joy of supporting you. So here's a question worth asking yourself. What if accepting help is actually an act of love? Not just for you, but for the person offering it? Coming up next, we'll look at a habit that seems harmless, but can quietly make people feel disconnected and even irrelevant in your life. Let's keep going. 3. Talking only about the past. There's no doubt that the past holds powerful meaning, memories, lessons, milestones, and moments that shaped who you are. And sharing those memories is one of the most beautiful ways to connect with others. A story from your youth, a lesson learned the hard way, or even a laugh about how things used to be can bring people closer together. But here's where it gets complicated. When every conversation revolves around the past, it can slowly create distance between you and the people around you, especially younger friends and family. Why? Because while stories can connect, constantly living in the past can make people feel like you're not really here with them. It can seem like you're more interested in what was than in what is. Over time, that can make others feel unseen, unheard, or even irrelevant in your world. You might not even realize it's happening. It can start small, mentioning how things were cheaper, simpler, or better back in the day. Then it becomes a pattern. Back when I was your age. Or, we never had that growing up. These kinds of comments can unintentionally shut down a conversation, especially when younger people are trying to share their experiences in today's world. This doesn't mean you should stop sharing your past. Far from it. Your stories have value. But balance is the key. Sharing a memory is meaningful when it's connected to the present. For example, if your grandchild is struggling at work, that's a great time to share how you handled a tough boss years ago. But if you turn every topic into a history lesson, people might start to tune out. Or worse, avoid deeper conversations altogether. So ask yourself this: am I just telling stories? Or am I building a two-way connection? Are you also asking about their lives, their opinions, their experiences? Are you showing curiosity about what's happening now? You might be surprised how powerful a simple question can be. What's something exciting you're working on? How's your week going? What's something new you've learned lately? These questions show people that you're still mentally and emotionally present, that you're engaged, that you care about who they are today, not just who you used to be. And here's the thing. People are more likely to want to hear your stories when they feel heard themselves. A conversation built on mutual sharing creates deeper bonds than one that always turns into a trip down memory lane. It's also worth noting that constantly comparing the past to the present, especially if it's done in a negative way, can make others feel judged. Statements like, "things were better back then," or kids today don't understand can come off as dismissive, even if that's not your intent. That can leave people feeling like they'll never measure up to your version of how things used to be. So here's a simple shift to try. For every memory you share, follow it up with a question about the present, or look for opportunities to connect your experience to something they're going through now. That way, your stories serve as a bridge, not a barrier. Remember, the past is a powerful part of who you are, but the people in your life want to know who you are today, too. They want to share new memories with you, not just hear about old ones. Let's move on to a subtle habit that often gets overlooked, but it can quietly make people feel like they're not truly part of your world. 4. Not asking questions. This next habit may seem small on the surface, but it can have a big impact over time. Not asking questions. Relationships are two-way streets. They thrive when there's give and take, when both people feel heard, seen, and valued. But if conversations always revolve around you, your stories, your problems, your opinions, and you rarely show interest in them, people eventually stop opening up. It's not always intentional. You might be focused on sharing something meaningful, or maybe you assume if they wanted to talk, they'd bring it up. But the reality is that most people need a gentle invitation. A simple, "How are you doing?" or "What's been going on with you lately?" opens the door. And if that door is never opened, people start to feel like they're just an audience, instead of a participant in the relationship. Over time, this one-sided pattern can leave others feeling overlooked. It sends a message, even if unspoken, that their thoughts or experiences don't matter to you as much as your own. And when someone feels like their presence isn't valued, they naturally begin to pull away. So here's the big question. When was the last time you asked a loved one about their life, without immediately turning it back to your own story? If it's been a while, you're not alone. This is a habit that creeps in quietly, especially as we age and our world shrinks a bit. We may not realize how self-focused our conversations have become, but the good news is, this is easy to change, starting today. The action step is simple. Start with genuine curiosity. You don't need to ask anything deep or profound. Just show that you're interested. Ask about their day, their work, their family, what's been exciting, or even what's been stressful. Listen fully, without rushing to compare it to something you've experienced. When people feel heard, they feel cared for. And when they feel cared for, they stay connected. Here's something else to consider. Asking questions isn't just about manners. It's about making someone feel like they matter. It tells them, "You're not just here for me to talk at. You're someone I truly want to understand." That builds trust. It deepens emotional bonds. And it reminds people that your relationship is a two-way connection. This is especially powerful across generations. If you have adult children or grandchildren, asking about their lives, even if you don't fully understand everything they're into, makes a big difference. You may not relate to their job, their music, or their social media habits, but showing interest in what matters to them will always be appreciated. And don't worry if it feels awkward at first. The effort is what counts. People can tell when your interest is sincere. So before we move on, take a moment to reflect. In my conversations, am I truly curious about the other person? Or am I mostly waiting for my turn to speak? Do I know what's happening in their life? Not just the big events, but the small, day-to-day stuff? Because here's the truth. Being someone who listens, who cares, and who asks, that's the kind of person others want to keep around. Next, we'll explore a habit that might be pushing away the very people you're hoping to connect with, especially younger generations. Keep going. This one might surprise you. 5. Criticizing younger generations. This next habit is one that many people fall into without even realizing it. Criticizing younger generations. Now, it's completely normal to feel disconnected from the way things are today. The world has changed fast. Technology, communication, values, even basic social norms can feel almost unrecognizable compared to the way many of us grew up. It's frustrating at times, confusing, and yes, sometimes even a little sad. But here's the thing, constantly pointing out what's wrong with the younger generation doesn't bridge that gap. It actually makes it wider. Phrases like "kids these days" or "back in my day, we knew how to work hard" may feel like harmless observations. But to younger people, those words can feel like rejection, like they're being dismissed before they've even had a chance to be understood. And over time, Those small comments add up until they stop wanting to be around you altogether. Here's the question we often forget to ask ourselves. Would you enjoy being around someone who doesn't understand or accept you? Probably not. No one wants to feel like they're being judged just for being who they are. That's how a lot of younger people feel when every interaction turns into a critique about their music, their fashion, their parenting, their values, or even just how they use their phones. And while those things might seem silly or even wrong to you, to them, it's just their world. It's how they grew up. And when we criticize it, we send a subtle but strong message. You're not doing life the right way. The truth is, every generation is different. Just like your parents once thought your way of doing things was too wild or too lazy or too modern. Now the roles have flipped. But here's what builds real connection: respect, curiosity, and empathy. You don't have to agree with everything, but trying to understand it goes a long way. Instead of saying, "You're always on that phone," try, "What are you watching that you enjoy lately?" Instead of, "No one has a work ethic anymore," ask, "What's your job like these days? I'm curious how things have changed." These small shifts in language change everything. They tell younger people, "I might not get it, but I'm willing to listen." You might be thinking, "But I just want to help them see things differently." And that's valid. Wisdom is valuable. But advice only works when it comes from a place of understanding, not criticism. People, especially younger ones, stop listening the moment they feel judged. So, if you've noticed a distance growing between you and younger family members or friends, ask yourself, have I been more critical than curious? More dismissive than supportive? If so, you can turn it around. It's never too late to change the tone. Start by finding common ground. Ask questions. Share your experiences, but also ask for theirs. Show that even if you don't fully understand their world, you still care about them as people. At the end of the day, every generation wants to feel seen, valued, and respected. And when you lead with openness instead of judgment, that's exactly what you offer. Up next, we'll tackle a habit that can leave others feeling shut out, even if you don't mean to. It has everything to do with how open you are to new ideas and experiences. Let's keep going. 6. Holding on to grudges. We've all been hurt. At some point, someone said something unfair, didn't show up when you needed them, or made a decision that left you feeling abandoned or betrayed. It's only human to feel angry, disappointed, even bitter. But when those feelings aren't addressed, and they turn into long-term grudges, they start to do something damaging, not just to you, but to the people around you. Bitterness is heavy, and people can feel it, even if you don't speak about it openly. It shows up in your tone, your body language, and the way you talk about others. Maybe it's subtle, a cold comment here, a bit of sarcasm there, or a story you've told a dozen times, still sounding just as raw as the day it happened. Over time, this emotional weight can become part of your identity without you even realizing it. And here's what many people don't understand. Holding a grudge doesn't just keep the pain alive, it keeps people at a distance. When someone senses that you're still carrying old anger or resentment, even if it's not about them, they often feel cautious. They may wonder, will I be next? Or is it safe to be emotionally open with this person? Over time, the emotional space around you becomes harder to step into. Conversations feel heavier, interactions feel tense, and people, especially those who care about peace and ease, start pulling away. Ask yourself, is the grudge I'm holding worth the space it's taking up in my life? Because here's the truth. Grudges don't punish the person who hurt you. They punish you. They keep you stuck in the past. They drain your energy. And they quietly push away the people who want to love and support you today. Now, forgiving someone doesn't mean forgetting, excusing, or pretending it didn't hurt. Forgiveness means choosing your peace over your pain. It's saying, I don't want to carry this anymore. I want to make room for better things. That doesn't mean you have to repair every broken relationship. Some people don't deserve a place in your life, but you deserve the freedom of letting go. And when you do, you make space for new connections, lighter conversations, and deeper peace. So if you've been replaying the same hurt for months, or even years, ask yourself, what would my life feel like without this grudge? Who might feel closer to me if I let it go? Coming up next, the silent habit that makes people dread your calls, even if they care about you. Stay with me. 7. Always needing to be right. We all like to feel knowledgeable. After all, Life has taught you a lot through decades of experience, hard lessons, and hard-earned wisdom. And it's only natural to want to share what you've learned. But here's a truth that can quietly damage. Relationships, constantly needing to be right, creates distance, not connection. It might show up in small ways, correcting someone's story, jumping in with, actually, that's not how it happened, or pushing your opinion until the other person gives up. Sometimes it comes from a good place. You want to be helpful, accurate, or make sure the facts are straight. But over time, people don't hear your intention. They feel your correction, and it makes them shrink back. Think about it. When you're constantly corrected, even gently, it chips away at your confidence. You start to feel like you're being watched for mistakes. Instead of being supported, you hesitate to share your thoughts, your memories, your ideas. It doesn't feel like a conversation. It feels like a test. No one wants to feel like they're always wrong. In someone's eyes, even if it's over something small. If you find yourself often needing to have the last word or set the record straight, ask yourself, is being right more important than being kind? Is correcting this going to make the relationship stronger or just satisfy my ego for a moment? Because here's the reality. Peace is often more valuable than precision, and letting someone finish their thought, even if they're a little off, can go a long way in making them feel respected and heard. This doesn't mean you can't ever share your perspective, but it's about how and when you do it. If the correction serves a purpose, like keeping someone safe or helping them grow, deliver it gently and with care. But if it's just about proving your point, ask yourself if it's really worth the strain it might cause. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it often takes more strength to stay quiet than to argue your way to a win. And the people around you will notice the difference. They'll feel safer opening up. They'll feel more respected. And they'll want to spend more time with someone who chooses peace over pride. At the end of the day, strong relationships aren't built on who's right. They're built on who's willing to listen, let go, and love without keeping score. In the next section, we'll explore a habit that may seem harmless, but it can slowly chip away at your most meaningful connections. Stay tuned. 8. Guilt-tripping family or friends. We all want to feel remembered. We want to know we matter, that we're not forgotten, especially by the people we love most. So when the phone doesn't ring or the visits become less frequent, it can sting. It's easy to feel hurt, overlooked, or even abandoned. And out of that hurt, many people fall into a habit without realizing it, guilt-tripping. It might sound like, nice of you to finally call. I guess you're too busy for your old mom these days. Well, I could be gone tomorrow. Then you'll wish you had come by more. These kinds of comments might come from a place of longing. But here's the hard truth. They don't bring people closer. They push them away. No one likes to feel manipulated or shamed. Even if the person on the other end of that comment cares deeply about you, guilt makes them feel cornered. It turns love into a chore. And when someone associates being with you, or even calling you, with feeling bad about themselves, they start to avoid it altogether. The result? Even fewer calls, even fewer visits, and deeper loneliness on both sides. This isn't about blaming, it's about awareness. Because when you're feeling lonely, it's tempting to express that pain by pointing out what's missing. But what often helps more is appreciating what's present, no matter how small. Instead of saying, you never visit anymore, try, it means so much to me when you do call. I really enjoy hearing your voice. Instead of, I guess I don't matter, try, I know you're busy, but I'm always happy to talk when you have time. See the difference? One builds a bridge, the other builds a wall. Now, let's be honest, this isn't always easy, especially when you are feeling forgotten. It's natural to want your children, grandchildren, or friends to make more effort. And yes, relationships should be mutual. But guilt-tripping usually leads to less connection, not more. People are more likely to show up when they feel welcomed, not shamed. Here's a powerful shift. Celebrate the moments you do have. Even if it's a 5-minute phone call, treat it like a gift. Show appreciation. Make it pleasant. Let people leave interactions with you feeling better than when they arrived. That positive emotional experience makes them more likely to come back, not out of obligation, but out of joy. And if you truly need more connection, be honest without blame. Say, I've been feeling a little lonely lately, and I'd love to see you when you can. It means a lot to me. Vulnerability creates understanding. Guilt creates distance. So if you've caught yourself making those subtle guilt-laced comments, Don't beat yourself up. Just notice it. And then try a new approach, one that focuses on love, appreciation, and open-hearted communication. Because your time, your voice, and your presence, those are gifts. Let the people in your life want to receive them. Coming up next, a quiet habit that may be causing others to feel shut out, even when you're trying to protect your own peace. Let's keep going. 9. Oversharing health problems. Let's be honest. Our health becomes a bigger part of life as we age. Doctor visits, new medications, aches and pains that weren't there before. It's natural to talk about it. And it's important to have people you can share those concerns with. But there's a delicate balance. When every conversation turns into a list of medical complaints or health updates, it can slowly wear down your relationships, especially with family or friends who don't know how to respond. Here's the hard truth. It's okay to talk about your health, but don't make it every conversation. Of course, your pain is valid. Of course, your experience matters. But when your loved ones call or come by, and the conversation consistently shifts to symptoms, side effects, or surgeries, it can become emotionally exhausting for them, especially if they feel helpless to do anything about it. Think about it from their point of view. They may love you dearly, but they also want to laugh with you, talk about memories, share what's going on in their lives, or simply enjoy your company without feeling like they're stepping into a medical report. Now, that doesn't mean you have to bottle things up or pretend everything's fine when it's not. Not at all. It just means being mindful of how much space your health is taking up in your conversations. Ask yourself, am I using these moments to connect or to unload? Am I leaving this person feeling closer to me or emotionally drained? One helpful strategy is to balance medical updates with uplifting or shared topics. For every story about a frustrating doctor's visit, offer a story about something positive that happened, no matter how small. Talk about a book you're reading, a funny memory, a show you've been enjoying, or even a hope you have for the future. This not only lifts the mood, but it reminds the people in your life that you're still you. Not just someone with a medical chart, but someone with thoughts, joy, humor, and curiosity. And if you really need to talk in depth about your health, which is totally okay, try having one or two trusted people you go to for that kind of support. Ideally, someone who has the emotional space for it. That way, you're not placing that burden on every interaction. Because here's what most people want from their relationships: a mix of honesty and lightness. They want to feel close to you, not just responsible for managing your worries. Remember, your health doesn't define your worth. The people who care about you want to connect with the full picture of who you are, not just the part that hurts. So, speak your truth, but also share your joy. That balance is what keeps relationships healthy, warm, and long-lasting. Up next, a quiet habit that may feel like just keeping to yourself, but could actually be shutting people out. Stay tuned. 10. Ignoring technology. We've all heard it. I'm too old for that. Or, I don't do phones. Or, why can't they just call me like we used to? And while these sentiments are completely understandable, technology can feel overwhelming, even frustrating. Ignoring it completely can quietly create a wall between you and the people you care about most. The truth is, the world has changed, and for better or worse, so has the way we connect. For many families today, texting, video calls, and social media are the primary ways they stay in touch. Birthdays are remembered through calendar apps. Baby pictures are sent over group chats. And quick, thinking of you messages might come in the form of an emoji or a heart reaction. If you're not part of that digital flow, you can slowly drift to the edges of your loved ones' lives, not because they don't care, but because you're harder to reach in the ways they're already communicating. Here's the key point. You don't have to become a tech expert, but a little effort goes a long way. Learning how to send a text, answer a FaceTime call, or reply with a short message can completely change your ability to stay close to your kids, grandkids, and even friends. It tells them, I want to be part of your world, too. And that's powerful. Think about how many meaningful moments you might be missing. A granddaughter's first recital video, a photo from a weekend trip, a quick message from a friend saying, hey, I miss you. All of that can come and go in a matter of minutes on a phone. And if you're not there, the connection fades just a little. Now, no one expects you to post on Instagram or figure out every button on a smartphone. But small steps matter. Maybe it's asking someone to teach you how to send a text, or practicing how to join a Zoom call, or even just learning how to read group messages without needing to reply. And don't let fear hold you back. Most people, especially the younger ones in your life, want to help. They'll likely be thrilled that you're making the effort. And when they see you trying, they'll be more likely to reach out, include you, and stay connected. It's not about becoming someone you're not. It's about keeping the doors open. Because the heart of technology isn't about gadgets, it's about connection. And staying open to new ways of connecting tells your loved ones, you matter to me. So the next time someone offers to help you with your phone, or shows you how to FaceTime or use an app, try saying yes. Not because it's easy, but because it keeps you close. Coming up next, a subtle behavior that might be causing others to feel like you're unavailable, even when you're home. Let's dive into it. 11. Being unreliable. Everyone forgets things now and then. It's human. But when it becomes a pattern, something subtle but serious starts to happen. Trust erodes. And trust is the glue that holds relationships together, especially in later years when connections can already feel more fragile. Being unreliable might look like this: saying you'll call back, but never do. Agreeing to plans, and then canceling at the last minute. Again, forgetting birthdays, anniversaries, or important events in a friend's or loved one's life. Or simply not showing up emotionally when someone needs you. At first, people may brush it off. They probably forgot. They're busy. No big deal. But over time, those small missed moments add up. The message that comes across, whether you mean it or not, is, I can't count on you. And here's the thing. As we get older, our circles often shrink. Friends move away. Loved ones pass on. Health and mobility can limit how much we get out. So when someone makes time for you, when they reach out, invite you, or share something personal, they're giving something precious. If it's met with flakiness or neglect, it stings more deeply than it used to. This isn't about being perfect. Life happens. Health gets in the way. Energy runs low. But there's a difference between occasionally having to change plans and regularly making others feel like they can't rely on you. So what can you do? Start with small, consistent commitments. If you say you'll call on Thursday, call on Thursday. If you make plans for coffee, show up on time, or give a proper heads up if you need to reschedule. If someone shares something important, follow up later to ask how it went. These gestures might seem small, but they tell people, you matter. I remember. I care. If memory is a challenge, lean on tools. Use a calendar. Set reminders on your phone. Write things down. There's no shame in using support. There's strength in it. And if you've already slipped into an unreliable pattern, it's never too late to rebuild trust. Start with honesty. A simple, heartfelt, I know I haven't been the most dependable lately, but I really value our relationship and I'm working on being better, can go a long way. People are often more forgiving than we give them credit for, especially when they know you're making the effort. Because at the heart of reliability is something deeper: respect. Respect for someone else's time, emotions, and effort. And when people feel respected, they lean in. They show up. They open up. So if you want stronger, lasting relationships, especially with peers, who also need support, start by being someone others can count on. Your consistency can be the foundation that keeps a friendship thriving for years to come. Coming up next, a habit that might feel like just being honest, but could be driving others away without you even realizing it. Stay tuned. 12. Playing the victim. When life changes, and it often does as we age, it's natural to feel a bit invisible at times. Maybe people don't check in like they used to. Maybe your opinion doesn't feel as valued in conversations. Or maybe the world just feels like it's moving on without you. It hurts. And if you've ever found yourself saying things like, no one cares about me anymore, I guess I'm just a burden, or everyone's too busy for someone like me, you're not alone. But here's something that's hard to hear, yet deeply important. Constantly speaking from a place of helplessness can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we repeatedly frame ourselves as the one who's always left out, always overlooked, always forgotten, it doesn't draw people in. It pushes them away. Not because they don't care, but because the energy becomes heavy, and the relationship starts to feel one-sided. People want to support you, but they also want to see you believe in yourself. They want to feel like their effort matters, not like it's being swallowed up by a bottomless well of sadness or blame. Now, none of this is to say your feelings aren't real. They absolutely are. Feeling hurt, forgotten, or lonely is valid. But staying stuck in the role of the victim limits your power, and over time, it can drain your relationships. So what's the shift? Shift the narrative. Instead of, "No one calls me," try, "I'm going to reach out today just to say hi." Instead of, "I'm always left out," try, "I'd love to be included next time. Can I help plan something?" Instead of, "Nobody cares," try, "I miss you. Let's catch up soon." Those may seem like small changes, but they send a powerful message. I'm still here. I still care. And I'm taking responsibility for the kind of connection I want. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about not giving away your power, because you are in control more than you think. You can choose to show appreciation instead of waiting for it. You can make the first move, offer kindness, and invite joy, rather than waiting for someone else to fix it. Playing the victim may feel like a shield against disappointment, but it can also become a wall that blocks love, support, and meaningful connection. The moment you begin to see yourself as someone worthy of love and capable of creating it, you stop waiting for others to save you. And that's when real connection begins. So, if you've slipped into the habit of always expecting the worst, pause and ask, what if I chose to believe people do care and started acting like it? The results may surprise you. You've made it to the end, and that says something powerful about you. You're not just seeking connection, you're ready to grow it. Which of these 12 habits hit home the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. If this helped you, give it a like and share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting advice on living your best life. After 50, because you deserve to thrive.